Councillor Fillion, this decision was made. It's a world story. It's all over the world. And Toronto, which is one of its bigger industries, or the film industry, is now known to have something shut down. And that was something that you did, and you felt really strongly about it.
Yeah.
But this is not going to happen here.
Yeah, I was trying to do this as quietly as possible to cause the fewest ripples possible.
I think your heart is in the right place. I mean, this is your neighborhood, and
my brain's in the right place too.
Yeah.
I might add. There was a just absolutely horrific tragedy that happened right where we're standing right now.
Right here.
People were dying right here, right where we're standing. I think you need to sensitize yourself to what people here went through. So 10 people died, many others have injuries that they'll live with the rest of their lives. All of those people have hundreds of friends and relatives and loved ones. In addition, it was a beautiful spring day. The street was crowded with hundreds of people who witnessed it. People came out of the high-rises and the office buildings here to try to help, and were literally, trying to save people and holding their hands while they died. Those people have very lasting traumas, and then for them to come into work today and look out their office windows and see some depiction of people being attacked and some kind of massacre and dead bodies and blood, that is like so extremely unsensitive that I can't imagine that anybody, including the people who thought it might be okay in the first place, on second thought thinking that was anyway okay. It's not like nothing can ever happen here again.
An incredibly historic tragedy took place right there 1 year ago. It's still very much on the minds of people who work there, who live there, people who are in the city hall who saw things they've never seen before and hopefully will never see again. Bodies lying on the street. And so I think that the unfortunate part of this is that it didn't come to light sooner that the particular scene that was being filmed was one that involved potentially quite a bit of violence. There are lots of places where very tragic situations take place in our city, unfortunately. We're trying to deal with that. But I would just say to you, the number of places where those tragic situations take place, where people are applying for film permits, is basically zero. And that if there was a film permit applied for in a place where there had been a recent tragedy involving gun violence, for example, I would have said that I hope that our film office would say, in a big city like this, there are lots of places where you can film those scenes, and it might be not, not something that would be other than disturbing for the local residents to have you do that. Does this send a bad message to the film industry? I can tell you this morning from talking to the producer, I don't want to put words in his mouth, you can speak to him yourself. But he understood. He, like me, regretted the fact that it came up at the last minute, but he completely understood this was a searing, historic, hopefully once ever tragedy in the life of our city. There's been nothing like it ever before, and that we need to be sensitive to the fact that it was only a year ago, and even many years from now, it is something that will be etched into the history books in a tragic way. This was not a politically correct decision. This had no ounce of political correctness about it at all. This was a decision that was sensitive to real people who experienced real trauma in their own lives when they saw dead bodies on the street as a result of a massive tragedy that took place in this city, and that I can tell you from being up there in this community is still something that is very traumatizing for a lot of the people who live up there. And so there's not an ounce of political correctness to the decision at all. We'll say, of all the places you could go in the city, there's probably a better place that you could go that doesn't involve traumatizing people that were traumatized even by a single act.